be very quick. And I know I'm going to be very quick because I need to charge my battery. And then it is getting really windy out here, and I got to move some of the plants that I have been hardening off. Do y'all see? It was like really windy. And hopefully that gust of wind won't come back until after I'm gone back in. But I'm going to show you all what I'm out here doing. I've been just a little bit busy. So I took about 20 minutes to try to pot up some of our what I call Japanese beetles defense mechanism. I'm going to make sure that I link the video because I started a whole lot of geranium seeds, and they were in these cell trays right here. And so it was time to pot them up. We got one more cell tray that we got to pot up. It's not actually 40 more. It may be about maybe a couple more, but we've potted them up. Now I don't have these outside yet. I just brought them outside so that I could pot them up and put them in bigger containers so that they don't get stunted. I'm going to water them in really well, and then we're going to take them back inside. We got some other things that are hardening off, but it's not quite time yet for me to put them out. They're probably on day 4 now, some of the plants that I've been hardening off. Another thing that I want to do before I go in is we like the sweet peas around here, or snow peas. I always have to say the vegetables because I am starting sweet peas, the flour, but I've had these soaking, and this is one of the plants that I actually direct sow. I don't put these in cell trays like this. I direct sow them, but one thing that I do is I try to soak them in water. Probably they've been soaking probably for about 12 to 15 hours. So I'll soak them and then I will put them directly in the ground. It's great. It's a great plant for cool weather. And we're going to put them on the trellis in the raised beds that we just did. And so we're going to do that. I was supposed to get one more raised bed planted, but I think I'll have to hold off for the weekend on that. But I just want to show you what I've been doing. This is going to be a test season for me. So I'll also tell you, in addition to the geranium plants that we started from seed, I also put down in the back, all in the backyard, milky spores for the beetles. Because if you're new to us, we've been here in the Atlanta area for, it's going on 2 years now. Yeah, it's going on 2 years. And each area, each state, every place has their own maybe garden pest that they may have to deal with. We had Japanese beetles in Savannah, but nothing like what I experienced last season. What I experienced is I was seriously taking a cup of soapy water every morning and every night, knocking the Japanese beetles in the cup of water. Like, it was ridiculous what I was doing. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, where are they coming from and why is it so many? And they were all on my rose petals. And you all know that we have started to create the rose garden, but I also save the rose petals and I use it in my tea. I also take the rose petals and we do like a rose water with it. Like, I really had so much I wanted to do with the roses, but when I tell you the way that they were eating them, and they were like 10 on a rosebud, like just seriously very disrespectful. And so I had to do a lot of research because, again, in Savannah, we did not have our main pest in the Savannah area were the leaf-footed bugs. They were not the Japanese beetles. I might have saw maybe 3 or 4 throughout the growing season, and they were on the roses, but nothing like what I experienced. And I try to garden as organically as possible. And I have to be careful about how I say that because I will use things like insecticidal soap. I'll use things like BT. I use things like neem oil. My first line of defense is to actually just go and do like I did last year. Take the soapy water and just knock them off in there. And then sometimes my next step will be to take a big stream of water and just dislodge them. But it was just so many. And now that we've planted about 30 roses in the ground, I don't want them to have a field day on my roses. So one of the things that I looked up, and I'll make sure that I link the whole video that goes into a little bit more detail, was geraniums. A lot of the Japanese beetles don't like the smell of geranium, and so I'm going to plant them like all around the roses, all around the rose garden. And they do. What I will tell you is it's not a bad smell. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but it is a distinct smell. Like when these are in the seed starting area, and it is a smell that you'll know, hey, those are geraniums. And so I'm hoping if we just kind of put them by the roses, plant them all around the roses, that they will be discouraged by the smell and they will go away. Because again, that was my first experience in over 20 years with that many Japanese beetles. It was, I don't know if it's, and you know, each year things change from season to season. So you might have a year where you just have like an overload of some type of insect. And then the next year, it may not be as much, but we're going to already do like some precautionary measures. And so what I did today is I got them out of here, and the germination rate was pretty good. This is a 40 cell tray. Out of the 40, I just potted up 35. So 5 of them didn't germinate. And so I still think that that's a good germination rate. And it could have been because once these leaves started getting bigger, they might have been covering the other ones from light. I don't know, but 35 out of 40, I think that's good. Now, this is the geranium cherry that we have, but I do love the way the leaves look. I have one more. I can't think of the name right now. It's like I can't think of the name, but it's more of like a hot pink color that we'll use around the garden. But all of these, some of these are going to go in the front. Like we're going to put them everywhere, like all measures. They might want to come in from the north or the south or the east or the west. We're going to put them all over, but I'm going to mainly make sure that I put them near the roses. And so if you're not subscribed to the channel, I want you to go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to let y'all know, like, did this work, or it didn't even matter. And that's what I really want to test, and that's what I want to see. I want to see if this is going to work and keep the keep the Japanese beetles at bay, or do the geraniums really act as a defense mechanism for the Japanese beetles? So I just wanted to share that with y'all. This is what I've been doing. I got another tray like this that we have, and then really quick before the wind keeps blowing, this is the sweet peas, the actual vegetable. We had these soaking in water. I'm going to go ahead and direct sow these on the trellis, because they get probably about between, now the ones that I did on the other trellis last spring, they got really tall, but this is a different variety. I want to say these are super sugar snap pea variety. But I love eating these off the vine, like in the springtime. Like, they really are sweet, especially when you grow them yourself and then you harvest them. They really are good. And I wasn't, like, I'll eat them, but I wasn't a fan of them until I started growing my own, like the roses. I wasn't a fan of the roses until I started to grow my own and got a chance to experience the different scents of the roses, because I've always just been used to the grocery store roses, and they never had a smell, and they most of all was the same color. So I was like, I don't see what the big deal is. And just a quick backstory, one day when I was in Savannah, they had the David Austin roses. They didn't have very many, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to try one and see. And whatever variety that was, that's really what got me into growing roses. And I was like, this is what people are talking about, the scent of it, the colors of it. Like, it was so delightful. So we've created like a rose garden, but I don't want the Japanese beetles to really eat up the way they did last season with our petals. Eat them up, because I promise y'all, I probably have pictures of it where it was like 10 on a rose bud. It was ridiculous. And I was like, what in the world? And so one person said they used the Japanese beetle traps and it worked, but someone told me don't use it because that scent is going to bring everybody, like it's going to bring them all in. Even if they aren't here, it's going to bring them in because they're going to be attracted by the scent. So hopefully they will smell the scent of these geraniums and they will go away. So I'm going to finish watering these in. I'm going to move them back in because I'm not ready to start hardening them off and putting them out yet. And I'm going to, I always sanitize my cell trays. Now I didn't, you can look at these, the leaves look healthy, everything look good, but I always like to empty everything out, sanitize everything, and then reuse them. So we're going to reuse these for I got some bell pepper plants. We got some growing. Y'all make sure y'all hit the subscribe button because I'm going to do a video. So the bell peppers are big enough now for me to start topping off. And I've done a video about that. Some people say they're scared to. Some people was like, but I'll explain all of that later. So we're going to get ready to plant more of those. And we're going to start some more tomato seeds. I did start some more patio tomatoes today. They're yellow and they get like maybe 18 inches, but I want to try those out as well. And I'll make sure that I put those, I plan on once we pull up all of our lettuce, then we'll put these on the patio. So if you haven't looked at do I have that video out yet? I'll put it out. We did our patio containers, but y'all are going to get a sneak peek. So we planted these up with the cool weather vegetables. We got all and some more, but I'm going to put that video out. If not today, definitely tomorrow. So check that out. But after, these are what's considered cool weather plants. So after these plants are done, then we're going to put probably the patio tomatoes that I started today. I'm really watching this. I'm watching this side. Let me tell y'all something real quick and then I'm going to go. So someone asked, what should they start planting? They only had a patio. And one of my first thing was first track the sun. I know you're excited about growing, but track where the sun goes, where it is throughout the day. So that's going to help you know what you can and can't plant. But I was looking at this bed today. So probably around maybe midday, it gets a lot of sun. And sometimes it gets a lot of sun to where these just kind of droop. It's not that that it needs watering. This is the plant's defense mechanism right here. Like when you see it droop, but as long as it bounces back, which the sun has went in and it's cooler, then they're okay. So I just said today, I said, I'm probably going to have to put a shade cloth on this one because right in this area right here, the sun beams down on it probably for about 2 hours and I can see that the plants are drooping. So we'll deal with that. That's like an easy fix. We'll get maybe some 30 to 50% shade cloth. We'll put it over here and we're just gonna have to lift it up and back because the last thing I want to do is plant these and then when the sun continues to beam on them, like it may bolt and go to seed because of the heat. So we don't want to do that, but I'll make sure that I put that video up. Y'all have just gotten a sneak peek. So I got 2 trays of these geraniums. This is the other tray. I went ahead and I watered those. So we're going to take these back in. I also got some summer savory. What I wanted to do today was to clip them so that they'll get bushier. And I watered them with some of the Neptunes. Let me show y'all real quick. I know Chris gonna have a fit at this patio. When I am in seed starting mode, I just have things everywhere. But normally this is what I do, y'all. I put on like a 20-minute timer and I will go and just try to straighten things up. But I can't put everything up because I still gotta plant another raised bed up and I got lettuce left. I made a lettuce bowl right here. After I planted the raised bed yesterday, because the main reason for me doing this bowl, and I may do a short about it, is because I want people to see that you don't need a big space to grow. This is just a bowl with a hole in it at the bottom, and you can just put some seeds in here. You don't have to start them from seed if you want to, what you call broadcast, and just sprinkle the seeds around in here. Keep it watered, keep it moist. But this is just like a confirmation that you don't need a lot of space. And if you just want to start and you just want to like try it out, this is a great way to go. So this is why I'm growing this. I wanted to get a little bit more fuller, but I just want people to see that you don't need a big space to be able to like grow anything. So we still got some more things that we got to get planted, and it's just stuff all over the place. Like I'm in spring garden mode, and I got stuff just laid out everywhere because y'all see on some of my videos, like at the beginning, I'll tell you that I'm gonna plant this right here. Then I'll start walking back and forth, moving around. And by the end of the video, I have come up with a whole different plan than what I started out. That's one reason why I was like, y'all, you stick with me to the end. But I am gonna put the peas like on the trellis on the opposite side. I'm gonna do that. I'm going to plant. So this is the thing, real quick. If you have a plan, like for example, just say for instance, I want to have 6 snap pea plants. I'm not just going to do 7. Like if I have an actual plan, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 seeds per planting hole. Hopefully 6 will come up, at least 6 plants. And then what I'll do is whichever one looks the weakest, I'll cut it off at the soil line. But if you just like don't care and whatever comes up, then you can just do 1. But I know that I want like a certain number on the trellis, so that's why I'm going to do 2. Another thing that I also do is depending on the seeds, if it's on the package, is look at the germination rate as well. Like these geraniums were 95% germination rate, and so I only did 1 seed per cell tray. And again, out of these 40 cell trays right here, I did get 35. I think that's pretty good. And I really didn't have a number plan, like how many I wanted. Because normally if I have a specific amount of plants that I want to put in a space, then I will plant probably about 25% more, because there is a plant I think I showed y'all the other day. Let me show y'all real quick that I'm watching, because sometimes all of these can grow. They look good. They're beautiful. You like, yeah, I'm going to put 12 plants right here. And then once you start to put them in the ground, then one of them started to look a little weak. And it's like, oh, I hope it makes it. But just think about if you already had it planned. Let me walk over here. Oh, did I knock that over? Let me walk over here, because this little snapdragon, he gonna make it. I have to talk so nice to him, because he buys some taller ones and they keep picking on him, but I think he's gonna make it. This is the one that it was growing so good in the containers. Like everybody was growing good. And as soon as I put this little fella in, he wanted to start drooping and acting up. And he's still drooping a little bit, but I really feel in my heart that he's going to come back. So the point I'm trying to make, like, I didn't plan it, but just say for instance, we got 5 snapdragons right here, right? And I was like, all I had was 5 snapdragons. And if this little fella checks out, then it's like, it didn't go as planned. So that's why when I'm starting seeds, I always do about 25% more than what I think I may need, because I do have another snapdragon, the same one, to pop in its place. But I really feel like he gonna make it. I don't know what his problem is. I don't. Like everybody else, just looking good and healthy. But you know, that happened to me in the fall with one collard green plant, and then just out of nowhere, bounced back, and it got up. So that's what we're gonna say is going to happen right there. But that's what I'm saying. Like if you're planning, most of the time, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I will look at a bed and I'll say I want this and that in there. But again, sometimes I'll change. But if I do start seeds, I always start more than what I anticipate that I'll need. And I know you might say, well, what do you do with the rest? Sometimes, like some of those geraniums, I know that my mom's favorite color is red, and these right here are the cherry color geraniums, and I got to make sure I keep, because I told myself, and y'all, I'm glad I'm making this video because I'm going to go back just in case I need to. I told myself, I'm like, I'm not making a tab for all of these geraniums. That's 35 geraniums, and this is the geranium bullseye cherry. And I'm like, I'm not making a tab for them for 35. So what I'm going to do is this variety is I'm putting them in this tray, this type of tray that doesn't have holes. And then it's the one that has the pink color. When I get ready to pot them up, probably this weekend, I have these type of trays right here. They're really soil block trays, but I have these trays, and so this is going to help me to remember. So if I have to go back to this live, I'll know which ones are which. This is the cherry one too, but you know, a lot of people say, well, what are you going to do with that? I'll probably take them down to my mom and like plant. She has like, going up the front steps, she has like a little place that one year she puts dahlias, one year she puts the gerbera daisies there. So I'll probably, if I have extra, I'll go put, because these are red, I'll just go put some geraniums in that space, and that's what she'll have for that year. But this is going to be our test, y'all. This is going to be our test on if they really make a difference. Now, I'm not saying, let me be clear, I'm not saying because I'm going to plant these geraniums that I'm not going to have any Japanese beetles. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I hope I don't have as many as I was knocking into that cup of soapy water last season, because that was so irritating and it took up so much time. And to be honest, y'all, it pissed me off because I'm like, I'm not going to let them defeat me like this. Like, you're not going to disrespect me in my garden. So again, I put down milky spores. It's an organic product. I put that down twice. I just broadcast it on the ground and just walk behind it, you know, like with the little broadcast spreader. So I did that twice. And because it's normally like a year-long cycle. So anytime you see the grubs in the ground, the grubs turn into the Japanese beetles. And so when I dig, I don't want to see too many grubs, but that's the whole cycle of it. So it starts off as grubs, and then it ends up as the Japanese beetles. So I put the and you guys let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and put my phone on the charger, and we will talk again soon. I'm going to water these up and put these in. So you all be safe and have a good night. Bye, y'all.